CNBC TV18, embarking on a quarter century of excellence.
Welcome back. In the last 24 hours, India has recorded 594 fresh COVID-19 infections, we are told, while the number of active cases have increased from 2669 on Wednesday to 2311. Sorry, they increased to 2699 from 2311. 6 more people are reported to have died of COVID in the last 24 hours. 3 are from Kerala, 2 from Karnataka, and 1 from Punjab. The bigger worry is the presence of a new subvariant called JN.1, which is derived from a variant called BA2.86, which is in turn a variant of Omicron. And that's perhaps the consoling factor since we have tackled Omicron. The World Health Organization has also said that JN1 spreads quickly, but it is not fatal. Yet the Central Health Ministry and state governments have called upon health administrations to prepare for more cases of hospitalization just in case. As for the markets, as you can see, diagnostic stocks have gone up, and of course, so have the markets in general, clearly on the assumption that this is not a big threat. Yet all of us will be headed to tourist destinations tonight or tomorrow. So to check out how safe it is for us to travel and what precautions we need to take, I have with me 2 experts, Dr Shashank Joshi, member of the Maharashtra COVID Task Force, and Dr Chandrakant Lahariya, the very well-known public health and public policy, health policy expert. Doctors Lahariya and Joshi, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Dr. Joshi, let me come to you first, sir. Can you tell us how much we should be scared and how much we should not be scared?
Latha, thank you so much. I don't think we should be scared at all. There is no concern or panic. COVID has become like any other winter virus, like flu, cold, cough. So we need to be cautious and careful, but I don't think we should panic at all. This current JN1 variant is a derivative of Omicron, as you rightly said. And it is a variant of interest, not variant of concern, as per WHO. It is being investigated by various agencies globally and our INSOGOG itself. We should trust our health authorities for their guidance from time to time. And we need to protect our vulnerable groups. Except for protecting our vulnerable groups in crowded environments, I don't think there is any cause for concern. So like you have dengue, malaria, COVID has become endemic worldwide. And therefore, we'll keep on getting these variants. The earlier variants which were coming up were recombinants. This is not even the recombinant. So it's a very, very old derivative of the lineage of Omicron. And therefore, I think the panic is a little unfounded. And the only challenge is if there are vulnerable groups, we need protection. We need to be vigilant to the various health guidelines which come from state and center. And I think our pandemic preparedness plan, which got endorsed during the G20, is in place. So I would continue watching our Ministry of Health, Government of India's guidance from time to time with various state governments. And the testing frequency is very low. So even the numbers are very low. And the so-called reported deaths also, there is no cause of alarm. Usually the COVID infection, when you're in hospital, you are doing a test, and that is why we find out that the person is harboring the virus. But I don't think there is any cause-effect relationship between the death and the C19 virus. It is incidentally found. And that's very important also.
Okay, no, that's very important to take home, that it is not causally related. Dr. Lahariya, we are all headed for holiday destinations. What should be the protocol? Would masks become important now? Should we go armed with AZ and whatever we took in the last round? And much more important, are those 2 vaccinations sufficient?
So let me start by echoing what Dr. Shashank Joshi said, that there is no need to worry. This is not even a new variant. This is a sub-variant of what we know as Omicron. What we need to remember, and here I want to clarify 2 things, that people often are saying that, okay, this has been designated as variant of interest by WHO, and that's why they should be worried. Rather, it's contrary. They should not be worried. Variant of interest simply indicate that it is a variant which should be monitored or watched by the government. So it's a call to action to the government that monitor, and that's the function of the government. Only time when people can be worried is when there is a new variant of concern. But the last variant of concern which had come is Omicron, which was first reported in November 2021. So for last 2 years, there had not been any new variant of concern. So this is not a variant of concern. Do not worry. Do not panic. That's one. Second thing is that you also shared the numbers are rising from 2,300 to 2,600. But we need to remember that after this kind of awareness, there is an increase in the testing. And if you increase testing by fivefold, the number will go fivefold. So absolute number has a limited value. We should be looking at proportion. So I am not concerned about the rising number also, because we are increasing testing. That's why what we are getting this thing. Third thing is that because this is transmitting, and that is the nature of any respiratory virus and SARS-CoV-2, that with the time there are new variants or some mutations into it. So that's what is happening. So just because there are mutations is not a concern. So theoretically, if we sum up everything, not much has changed for us. So do not change your travel plan. Keep living your normal life. Nothing has changed. What one should do, of course, what Dr. Joshi also highlighted, that people who are has a pre-existing morbidity, they need to be a little careful, especially in the crowded place. So if you are going to holiday destination, if you are in a crowded place, if you feel like you can wear mask. More important is that one should be taking care of their pre-existing illnesses. So take medication for existing illnesses. If you are healthy, you will be protected from other illnesses. Other thing is that if someone has a flu-like symptoms, that person could be advised that stay home or definitely wear mask, so you do not pass it on to other family members or other individuals. And it is not about SARS-CoV-2 or this JN.1 also. We need to follow all the time, especially in winters, the respiratory etiquettes that cover your mouth, sneeze in the arms, or wash your hands, and all of those are respiratory etiquette which we need to follow, and that's what we need to do for JN.1 or SARS-CoV-2. So SARS-CoV-2 is just like any other respiratory illness. It will continue to be just like any other respiratory illness.
Okay. So you know what? We stopped wearing masks, Dr. Lahariya, and we stopped carrying sanitizers. To be fair, I still have a sanitizer in my bag, but I don't use it. And in our office, we had a sanitizer every time we open a knob. There was a sanitizer ready over there on the wall. That regimen has now relaxed. Do you think the regimen needs to come back, albeit briefly, Dr. Lahariya?
No, I don't think that regimen need to come back. All we need to do is follow a standard hand hygiene practice or respiratory etiquette practice. Not because there is some spike in certain cases, we should bring that regimen. We need to follow hand washing practices which prevent from many illnesses. I also want to flag quickly here that, for example, you gave the number of 6 deaths which are attributed to COVID-19. Dr. Joshi highlighted that those are not causally linked. But more important is that in India, every single day, there are around 28,000 deaths. So in comparison of 28,000 due to old age or other illnesses, 6 deaths is a very small number. So we should be, there are other concerns such as air pollution, which cause more number of deaths every day. So we should be more concerned about other things. COVID should be given proportionate importance, not disproportionate importance. And we know number 6 is much smaller in comparison of 28,000.
No, absolutely. That's well spoken, sir. I remember even last time you said that we should not let our children's education suffer because we are giving disproportionate attention to what is perhaps something that can be cured with normal hygiene practices. Dr. Joshi, the more important point, are those 2 vaccinations sufficient? There are some people, everyone has 2 vaccinations. A few people have 1 booster. Very, very few people have 2nd booster. Any advice there?
I don't think we have any data to suggest anything further now. So I would wait for the government authorities to do more research in this and more science. And right now, I would go by the government guidance. I think we have to, it's a mild variant which we are encountering. We need healthy practices. It is like any other winter virus, as Dr. Lahariya said, and we have pollution and winter around. So you need good hygienic practices in general for general hygiene. And beyond that, I think we should not give any undue importance.
Okay.
We need to be vigilant. The researchers and scientists, I have full faith in our governmental authorities. They will do their job. And when the guidance comes, we should follow that.
Okay. No, absolutely. We have faith. So I'm not rushing to get the 2nd booster. I did take 1. But Dr. Joshi, I want to give you credit publicly for one thing you told us. It was, I think, the 1st or 2nd of March of 2021 when you were on the channel and you said somewhere in Amravati we are noticing one variant which is galloping much more, and we have sent it to INSACOG for genome sequencing. And lo and behold, we had Delta on our hands. So do you think genome sequencing is something, or whatever, I don't know if I'm saying the right terms, for the health administration and the research authorities to be very careful about, that another variant doesn't jump on us without our being prepared?
No, they are constantly doing genome sequencing, Latha, continuously batch by batch, and it's public knowledge now. The GSID is a global website, as well as the Indian INSACOG. Even in Maharashtra, there are people from Pune who have their own microbiology genome sequencers by government of Maharashtra. So there is constant, microbial vigilance which is happening, and the ICMR and the health authorities are studying it. But as I said, there were some recombinants in the last 2 years, but they were also not a cause of concern. And this is, as I said, is an Omicron derivative. So I think we should just wait and watch. But yes, science and research should continue, because we have to have a pandemic preparedness plan in place, and science drives this plan. And you are very right that that time we had a real hotspot there. It turned out into a very sinister Delta, but Omicron was the chain breaker, and this is an Omicron derivative. So I think all is vigilance, science, but I think no panic.
Okay, thanks a lot for that reassurance, Dr. Joshi. We know that people like you and Lahariya and doctors in INSACOG are absolutely up to the task. And of course, even BMC rendered a brilliant account of itself in the administration of vaccine. Any last word from you, Dr. Lahariya, before we wind up?
I think we should learn that SARS-CoV-2 will continue to have various subvariants. Once in a while, there would be a slight rise in the cases. We should trust authorities. We should keep watching about it. But there is no need to worry or panic about it. In fact, I believe that SARS-CoV-2 has become just like any other respiratory virus, and we should protect ourselves from any respiratory virus. We should take measures to keep ourselves healthy by eating well, regular physical activity, and good hand hygiene. And that's enough to prevent from majority of respiratory illnesses. If you are pre-existing illness, get treatment. That prevents from many other illnesses.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doctors Lahariya and Joshi, for setting our mind at rest. We have all booked our holiday tickets, and the stock markets are absolutely going from strength to strength. So clearly no one is in a state of panic at this point in time. But it feels very good to hear that from the two of you, who know much better than all of us. A very happy Christmas and New Year to the two of you, and to everyone who is watching us on Bazaar. Great happy holidays to all of you. Thank you very much for watching this edition of Bazaar. Chartbusters after a break.
CNBC TV18, embarking on a quarter century of excellence.